Thank you, Mr. Ormsby. Good morning. Should we try it again? Good morning. Oh, there are people here. Welcome to our chapel, our last chapel for January the 28th. And we will not actually have an all-school chapel next week because of CTP5 testing. So I know everyone in 3 through 7 is looking forward to that. But we will be back the week following. Let's begin our chapel as we normally do with our hymn and our Pledge of Allegiance. An exciting day whenever it snows here. Beautiful, little bit slick, and apparently tonight we'll get even more. So everyone be careful and stay safe this weekend. I'm going to do 2 sets of birthdays, and they're going to spread through next week since we don't have next week's chapel. So we'll do current birthdays, and we're moving into August, believe it or not, for half birthdays. Today, 7th grader Maddie Edwards, happy birthday to Maddie. On Sunday, and please stand, 8th grader Emerson Nolte, happy birthday to Emerson. On Tuesday, the 1st of February, 1st grader Sophia Maley, happy birthday to Sophia. On Wednesday, the 2nd, 2 birthdays, 7th grader Hayden Blair and 5th grader Merritt Baverka, happy birthday to Hayden and to Merritt. And on the 3rd, 7th grader Jason Smith, happy birthday, Jason. Also on Thursday the 3rd, Coach Tools, happy birthday to Marlo. And then looking ahead to the following week, Monday the 7th, 2 birthdays, 7th grader Dylan Bond and 5th grader Logan Dry, happy birthday to Dylan and Logan. On the 8th, 5th grader Quinn Sundahl, happy birthday to Quinn. And also on the 8th, lower school music teacher, Mrs. O. Happy birthday in Young. And on Thursday the 10th, 2nd grader John Baverka and 7th grader Elise Hornsey. Happy birthday to John and Elise. And now, looking ahead to half birthdays for the end of July, beginning of August. Very different temperatures at that time. Okay, so on the 28th of July, our friend on the operations and grounds team, Mr. Tomko. Happy birthday to Greg. Happy half. And on the 1st of August, we'll have 1st grader Arshia Hekar and 4th grader Scarlett Johnson. Happy half to both of you. On the 3rd of August, our very own science teacher, Mr. Kratz. Happy half to Jake. On the 4th of August, 4th grader Ellie Satiro. Happy birthday, Eli Satiro. And a few more. On the 7th of August, kindergartner Sophia Dieger. Happy birthday to Sophia. Happy half. And rounding it out, 4 birthdays on the 8th of August. 3rd grader Mila Zabo. 4th grader Archer Willis. 6th grader Vishal Thamula. And actually someone is listed twice, so it's 3, not 4. Happy half to all 3 of you. No, one hidden here. Spanish teacher, Senora Ponte, also on the 8th. Happy half birthday to you, Senora. Okay, let's sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. Thanks, everyone. All right. We've got a couple announcements before we get started. First, Next week, as I mentioned, is CTP5 testing. That's for grades 3 through 7. Some tips: be sure to eat a good breakfast, get plenty of sleep. There'll only be one chapel next week. We will have a Wednesday lower school chapel. Ms. Machendero's first grade class will do a presentation. And then the following week is a very special week for us. It's Visiting Artists Week, February 7th through 11th. Our arts department has several special visiting artists that you will meet and get to see their work and hear about their process. All chapels that week will be with our visiting artists, so that'll be exciting. We have a special presentation. I'm looking back to the booth. Is it going to be ready to go? The preview? All right. So as you may know, some of you are involved in the middle school production of Xanadu. Coming up in next week, it'll be February, so we'll be able to say coming up next month. And they have given us a behind-the-scenes look, so we're going to watch a little preview before our chapel talk today. All right, I'm really excited for that. I don't know about anyone else, but I can tell there's a lot of hard work going on. It's fun to walk through here when singing and dancing is happening, and it only gets more and more polished. And I like the video because it showed us the front and the back of house. The tech crew is working really hard to get that together also. All right, it is my pleasure to announce today's chapel speaker, Ahilya Dugar. We have very few students who come here as early as kindergarten, but she is one. And so she has, as she sits waiting her turn, has seen many of these chapel talks and has a great message today about the bravery that it takes to make such a talk. Something that I learned is that Ahilya is a black belt in Taekwondo. She has many talents. Throughout her time here, she's been known to be a very diligent student, a talented actor, someone who's always friendly and kind, soccer player, basketball player, always a positive influence. Her teachers say she's a great writer and a great role model for her fellow students. Direct quote, Ahilya always puts forth 150% effort in everything that she does. She wants to please her teacher and make sure that she tries her best in everything. She wants to be her best and the best that she can be, and make each context she's in better. A student, an athlete, a performer, and a friend, Ahilya Dugar. Give her a round of applause. She makes the long walk to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. McManus, for your kind introduction. Good morning, Montgomery School. My name is Ahilya Dugar, and my chapel today is on being brave, not perfect. We've all felt the need to be perfect at one point in our lives. We wanted something to go how we intended it to. But the truth is, it doesn't always work out that way. We may not realize, but perfectionism lives and breathes in your fear of making a mistake. When you're afraid of what might happen, you don't always make the best possible choices. Most of the time, we go according to plan. For example, when you are working on a project and you have an idea, but it isn't like everyone else's, so you do not take the risk and you do something that everyone else does. Perfectionism is when we increase our stakes every time, so when you do accomplish something, you wonder if you could have done better. Think about it like this. Perfectionism sets us on a path that feels safe. If we let life and our mind follow this path, the more likely the chances are for us to continuously worry to make everything perfect. When we always strive to be perfect, we tend to also worry about how others perceive you. People always will expect you to do something perfect, whether it be a sport or a job, and one mistake you make, others change their perspective they have on you. Simone Biles, for example, during the 2021 Summer Olympics, she withdrew from the team final because of mental health challenges. People expect her to be perfect and compete because she's an amazing gymnast. But once she withdrew, people thought that she was weak and that she wasn't the person they thought she was. This is why we tend to always worry about being perfect, because if we are not, others will judge us or change their view on someone. This can also increase stress levels. All the self-doubt and the self-blame have you believing that it's your own fault that you cannot achieve the standards you've set out for yourself. Negative thinking and perfectionism can lead to low self-esteem and feelings of failure. There are still positive consequences when it comes to perfection. Perfection can motivate you to achieve your goals, practice self-improvement, provide your best effort on tasks, and try harder in the future. People who use perfectionism in a positive way are frequently goal-oriented and driven, which can help them achieve a variety of goals in life. Now, how does being brave and showing courage relate to perfectionism? As I said before, perfectionism puts you on a path that feels safe. People who see themselves as perfectionists tend to give up easily on a challenge. Instead, I realized that we should find the difficult material to be challenging, to be determined to solve it. I've always been the type of person to always want good grades in school. I try to put in the effort, but if I get one bad grade, I have this feeling of failure and giving up. As I kept progressing through the years, I realized that I can't let one bad grade bring me down when I can be determined to try harder next time. When you try being perfect, you fear that we will mess up. It lowers your confidence level thinking you can't do something. Sometimes, even when we approach a challenge with ambition, that feeling of being perfect causes us to take less risks. So how do I change this? Sometimes we tend to let our fears get the best of us. Because we always strive to be perfect, we let our fears take control of us, and we continuously second-guess ourselves from taking a risk. Sometimes we need to take control of what we can, accept the things you can't. You can make changes that you can and are easier to accomplish, but let go of the fears that you can't and don't have control over. One experience in my life, feeling that I have to be perfect at everything, is when I do Taekwondo. I've been doing Taekwondo for 6 years, and I'm currently a black belt. I'd always be aware of my skills and form, and I double-check that every minor detail was performed perfectly. During a test, I would become quite apprehensive and constantly question whether or not I was doing a move correctly. I gradually realized that I would constantly push myself until I got it perfect. However, with this perspective, I would never be able to do anything because my standards and expectations were just too high. I began to believe I couldn't do it and would easily give up. I let my fears get the best of me. I definitely had to see the difficult material as a challenge, show determination, and believe in myself more. But I kept constantly relying on perfectionism and was harder on myself than before. I realized that I needed to change my mindset and to lead with ambition instead of playing it safe. I started to become more courageous and was able to complete the challenge without hesitation by following 3 steps. Changing your mindset is key to letting go of perfectionism. Our mindset is made up of our beliefs and perspectives on life that are based on our previous experiences and perceptions of the world. Our perspective on the world has an impact on how we interact with it. You can build a sense of well-being by developing a good enough mindset that isn't packed with unrealistic expectations, such as if you were to set high standards for yourself just to prove that you are enough. We sometimes say we know that what will happen in the future, but in reality, whatever the outcome is, your expectations tend to become higher than before. As a result, Adjusting your perspective and previous views about yourself based on prior experiences of what's required of you is the first step toward feeling like you're enough. The rest is a process of shifting your mindset from needing to try more for approval to simply being enough for yourself. Being able to be there for yourself is very important when it comes to being brave. Self-reliance isn't something you're born with. It's something you learn through trial and error as you go through life making your own choices. When I started to think for myself and make my own decisions, I began to gain confidence. People who act with self-reliance feel more in control of their surroundings, and this sense is a key component of happiness. Your self-esteem and happiness rise when what you do is in alignment with what you believe. Self-reliance entails taking care of one's own needs. We should always not only focus on others' well-being, but take care of ourselves when we need it most. You need to be there for yourself when no one else is there to support you. Simply believing in yourself and accepting trial and error helps you to be able to control yourself so that you can show confidence. The more you do for yourself, the better you'll feel. The better you feel, the more confident you'll become, and the less compelled you'll feel to always be perfect. Trusting yourself and letting go of the past can help you to believe you are enough. Sometimes we tend to dwell on the past, thinking we could have done better. But what good does that do? We all know that we can't change the past, but it still comes back to us every time. We convince ourselves that focusing on our past mistakes will help us avoid them in the future. By doing this, you are constantly reminding yourself that you cannot achieve something you've set out for yourself by making mistakes. To trust yourself, you need to live your life moving forward, not in reverse. This will help when it comes to perfectionism. When you're working on something, whether it is a sport or a job, you need to be able to trust yourself and not worry about how others perceive you. I hope you were able to find that perfectionism isn't the key to success, but you being brave and taking risks is a path for determination. Being able to feel like you are enough is one step closer to that feeling of success. Instead of worrying about how others perceive you or making every small detail perfect, be creative and show that you can strive to become courageous. Remember to keep in mind that changing your mindset from needing more for approval to simply being enough for yourself, building self-reliance to boost your confidence, and trusting yourself by focusing on moving forward instead of reverse will prove that you don't rely on perfectionism or let fears take control of you. I would like to leave you with a quote that truly inspires the meaning of being brave, not perfect. Perfectionism isn't a standard, it's an obstacle. It shows that perfectionism is something you need to overcome, not rely on all the time. Specifically for me, in school, at home, or at Taekwondo, it is something that I've learned to control so that I do not let it get in the way of making my own decisions. Putting out standards to prove that you are enough shouldn't be something you have to prove. Overcoming and adapting helped me to be able to believe in myself and become courageous. You do not have to rely on perfectionism, but you do have to believe in yourself. Thank you and have a great day.